Dun, dun 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 dun. Am I singing? No. Hi, 大家好，我是拉拉。Welcome to 拉拉的中文课。Today I will share some super effective ways to learn Chinese tones. Whether you're just starting to learn Chinese or have never studied a tonal language before, I'm confident this video will be a big help. Now let's jump right in. If you're interested in one-on-one lessons, feel free to contact me using the information in the description box. If your native language doesn't use tones, it can be tricky to hear the pitch changes at first. Here's the key. Chinese tones are a bit like music. You need to get a feel for the rhythm and melody of the language. What does it mean? Here's a fun example. Dun, dun 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 dun. Am I singing? No. Imagine your friend is about to run a red light and you shout this to stop them. Hey, dun, dun 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 dun. Dun, light. Dun, to wait. Dun dun, wait for the traffic light. Dun, dun 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 dun. Doesn't it sound like the jingles from Intel's commercials? That's the rhythm of Chinese, and understanding this can help you master tones more easily. Let's see how. Most textbooks show you a tone chart like this, but this chart doesn't fully capture how the tones behave in natural speech. So in today's video, I'll be using the chart below to explain each of the tones. As you can see, the third tone is a bit more complicated. In natural speech, its pitch will change depending on what tones it's combined with. We'll go into more details about the third tone in future videos, but for now, let's start with the simplest one. Tone combination drills. Instead of practicing tones individually, it's much easier to start with simple tone combinations. Let's begin with the easiest one, the first tone combination. The first tone is a high and flat pitch. Let me demonstrate using the sound咖啡冰咖啡三杯冰咖啡三杯冰咖啡 Notice how your pitch stays steady and flat. Now you try. 今天星期一今天星期一 Now let's move on to a tone pair with more pitch variation. The first tone plus the third tone. You probably learned in textbooks that the third tone is like this. 你我 It dips down and then rises again. But in natural speech, the third tone is often just a short low pitch. In fact, it's the opposite of the first tone. This is how they sound together. 香港香港机场真好香港机场真好 Now your turn. 周五1点 开始。周五1点开始。The third tone plays the first tone. Remember the Intel's jingle? 噔噔噔噔. Now keep this pitch pattern in mind. 北京。北京每天堵车。北京每天堵车。Now your turn. 老师喜欢买书。老师喜欢买书。The second tone plays the fourth tone. Now let's try a more challenging tone pair, the second tone and the fourth tone. The second tone is a rising pitch, like when you are questioning. Well, this is how Chinese people express surprise and confusion. Ah? The fourth tone falls sharply, like giving a firm no. Here's a fun way to remember. Did you say B? No, I said T. B, B, T, T. Now try this. 学学校。学校环境不错。学校环境不错。When you are practicing, you can let the fourth tone drop sharply and the second tone rise gently, creating a dramatic contrast. 学校环境不错。But once you are comfortable with this tone pair, you can speed it up and speak in a more natural way. 学校环境不错。Now your turn. 颜色不太合适。颜色不太合适。Here's something important. Chinese tones are about relative pitch. Everyone's pitch is different. Now you will hear 3 people say this phrase. This phrase includes all 4 Chinese tones. After listening to the recording, tell me which one sounds correct to you.
非常感谢。
非常感谢。
非常感谢。Which tone is correct? Well, the answer is they are all correct. Women's voices are often higher than men's, and children's voices are even higher. As long as your pitch follows the right pitch pattern, your pronunciation will be fine. Today, we practiced the basics of Chinese tones and worked through some common pairs. In total, there are 20 tone pairs in Chinese, and I prepared sentences for each one to help you practice. All of these are sentences you'll hear in daily life. These sentences are all made up of 2-syllable words. That's because 2-syllable words make up the largest portion of Chinese vocabulary, and they are the pitch pattern you'll hear most often in the language. You might think, but in real life, most sentences are way more complicated than this. That's true, but for beginners, practicing these tone pairs helps you build muscle memory. It's just like learning dance. Start with the basic moves, and soon you will be able to flow through an entire routine. I will cover all 20 combinations in future videos, so stay tuned. For now, keep practicing what we learned today and record yourself to see how close you are to native speakers. That's all for today's video. 谢谢你看了这个视频，我们下次见，拜拜。